Would you like to sound professional when you speak English? Well, there are 5 business English phrases and words I have to teach you today. You should watch this video to the end so you can also take part in the quiz to test your knowledge. Let's fix the problem fast. Let's get into the video. The first phrase or word we're going to learn is bottom line. Bottom line. It actually means the most important point or the final result of a conversation, especially when you're discussing money, profit, or making key decisions. You use this expression when you're focusing on what truly matters. Let's take 3 examples to show you how to use this word in business. The first one, the bottom line is that sales must improve this year. That's the goal of going into business. If sales do not improve, then what then are you going into business for? You're not running a charity organization, isn't it? Of course not. The second example, profit is the bottom line for most businesses. Yeah, you go into business, you make sales, but are you really making profit? You don't just want to make sales, you want to actually generate profit. After paying salaries, paying your taxes, expenses of running the business, you should have a whole lot of money left to say, okay, my business is successful. And that is when you make profit. The third example, the bottom line is simple. We need better customer service. Yeah, if you run a business, you need clients to actually make the business grow. And the client is the only person that can fire everyone in the company. If your customer service is poor, then you don't have a business, because in a very short period of time, your clients could leave the business. So to make your business grow, you need better customer service to retain the ones you have and to attract new customers that pay a lot of money. The second expression you need to know is touch base. It actually means to briefly communicate with someone for the purpose of checking progress or discussing updates. So you want to find out, the progress on a particular task. You want to find out what's new. You actually say you're touching base, right? It's mostly used in offices, and it usually indicates that you're having a very short conversation with someone. Let's take 3 examples to show you how to use this in business or professional settings. I will touch base with the client this afternoon. There's a client who has promised to make payments. You want to find out if the client is still interested, if there's anything making the client stall or cause any delays. You just have a short conversation with the clients to remind them of their payments. All right. I touched base with the manager regarding the report. Yeah, the manager has asked you to, write a report on something, and he's giving you a deadline. So you sit down with the manager, have a discussion, help him, show him what you have done. He looks at it. He says, okay, you need to do this, you need to do that. And then you agree on, what all the corrections that need to be made. So that conversation with him, you say you're actually touching base. Finally, we should touch base before making a final decision. Yes, the decision is final and the consequences are going to be there. If you do not have a very well informed, if you are not well informed, you will not make the right decision. So you decide to sit down with your team and say, you know what, can we discuss this one last time briefly before deciding what to do finally. The third word or expression you need to know is deadline. This is actually one of my favorites. It either refers to the final time or date by which something must be completed. So if someone tells you, look, your deadline is 8 a.m. July 2nd, that means you could submit it anytime before 8 a.m. July 2nd. If you submit it 8:05 a.m. on the same day, July 2nd, it will not be accepted. So it should not be beyond the date and the time specified, right? It is very important because it keeps work organized. It ensures that things follow due process. In addition, deadlines are also very important because if you miss them, they cause delays in projects and they cause problems, and they could also make you lose a lot of money. Let me show you 3 examples that help you, learn how to use these words in business and professional conversations. Susan always submits her work before the deadline. That means that Susan has a reputation for dropping reports or submitting projects or delivering projects before the time you have given her to do so. She's an exceptional worker. Example 2. Missing the deadline cost the company money. Yes, we explained that deadlines are important because when you miss them, they cost you a lot of losses, they cause delays in projects, and they give you a bad reputation. Remember, deadlines help you maintain organization. So when you don't have deadlines or you don't meet deadlines, there'll be disorganization, and disorganization leads to losses. Example 3. Please remind everyone about the deadline. Yeah, you're working with a team and you've said, look, this thing needs to be submitted on Monday, July 2nd. Some people would forget, or some people would claim that they did not remember. So your job as a team lead is to remind them, look, we have a target. I want to be sure that everyone is working towards achieving this project and delivering each assigned task before July 2nd. This is to ensure that problems do not occur. Okay, expression number 4 here, to think outside the box. This actually means that you're thinking creatively, or you're trying to find unusual solutions to problems. It's very important that you think outside the box because businesses need innovations. They need new ideas on how to solve problems. There are 3 examples that I have that will help you know how to use this idiom in everyday conversation. The first, we need to think outside the box to improve sales. Yes, so you're in a new business, or you're in a very old business and you have a lot of competition and you're not making as much sales as you used to. You need new ideas to generate sales leads and make more money, and of course have more customers. The second example, our team encourages employees to think outside the box. This is one of the most important things you need to do, especially as a business leader, so that your employees can feel very free to generate ideas. Any of those ideas could be worth millions or billions of dollars. And the companies that do very well are companies that allow people to think outside the box and express their ideas too. Finally, to beat competitors, businesses must think outside the box. And that's very, very easy to understand. To outdo your competition, especially people whose capital base is larger than yours, you need to have ideas that are very uncommon but that can solve the problems. These ideas could make you do things faster, cheaper, and probably better, or a combination of all 3. And yes, the final expression you need to know, on the same page. It means to have the same understanding, opinion, or agreement on something. This is necessary so that you can avoid, or enable clarity and avoid confusion and errors. Yes, if people agree on something, there's a high chance that they'd be able to achieve things faster. They won't have disagreements, they won't have issues, and there'll be very few errors, right? Let me show you 3 examples to help you understand how to use this expression. First, we need to be on the same page before the presentation. Yes, we have a presentation on Friday. Both of us need to agree on what to say, what things to scrap out in our scripts, what things to agree on, and things like that. This idiomatic expression means that we are thinking in the same direction. We have agreed on something. Example 2, managers and employees should be on the same page. Yes, every team has a goal, has a vision, has a task that they intend to accomplish, and the steps that must be taken to accomplish these goals have to be very clear. If members of the team do not understand this or do not agree with it, there would be very serious consequences. And this is what this example is trying to teach you. Finally, miscommunication happens when people are not on the same page. And that's very true. When you communicate expectations, you need to be sure that the people you are speaking to actually understand what you're saying. And this happens a lot in marriages, in businesses, and in every human relationship. This example shows you the importance of clearly communicating your expectations to be sure that you and the person or the people you're speaking to are thinking in the same direction, have the same agreement, and have the same opinion, so as to avoid issues and errors. Now, I want to test your knowledge to see whether you understand all of these words and expressions I have taught you. So let us move over to the quiz. Let's answer question 1. What does bottom line mean? Is it A, company logo, B, Most important point. C. Office floor. Or D. Salary increase. Let's go to question 2. What does touch base mean? Is it A. Play sports. B. To visit home. C. To briefly communicate. Or D. To travel abroad. Question 3. What is a deadline? Is it A. Break time. B. Final submission. C. Meeting room. D. Lunch hour. Question 4. To think outside the box means A. To sit outside. B. To build a box. C. To think creatively. D. To ignore the ideas. Finally, question 5. If a team is on the same page, they are blank. A. Reading a book. B. Working individually. C. Confused. Or D. In agreement. Go to the comment section, drop your answers or your opinions. Also tell me which word or idiom or phrase was your favorite. For me, it's thinking outside the box. Remember to give this video a like, follow my channel, and then of course share it to many people as possible.